2, 3. We want to welcome everybody to the Mom and Dad Talks, where our favorite two people are Mom and Dad, and we have Hantie. Hi, Hantie. So good to see you. And we have a very special guest, Davi Davenport, all the way from California. She's a motivational speaker. I mean, she does real estate. I mean, she has done it all. Hairdresser. I mean, and she has a line. I don't want to save her thunder because she is a powerful, powerful woman, and she's a woman of God. So I'm telling you right now,
yes.
You don't want to miss this story right here. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. And we have a mutual friend.
All about it. Yes.
And we have a mutual friend, AJ Parker. And this is a treat for you guys because she's going to tell her story. And I hope it encourages, especially women and men, that you can make it. So, Davi, we're going to start when you were 22 years old. Okay.
Whoa! Only a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Only a couple years ago, Todd. That's all that it is, guys. First of all, I'm super excited. I was absolutely honored when you asked me to be on your show with your parents. I've never, ever, ever been a part of an interview with someone's parents, and this is incredible. I'm a family girl, so it's all about family. It's all about that, and to have Auntie on here as well. Like, this is so amazing tonight. Thank you for everything. You know, why family means so much to me, Todd, and my mother and my grandmother, who are both in heaven right now, and that's me speaking. You know, I'm a strong believer. I'm not a religious woman per se. I'm a spiritual woman. So I believe in just a power greater than ourselves. I know for a fact when I was diagnosed with rectal cancer, December 3rd, 2002, which we're going to get into, I know when God said he didn't want my life, he wanted my testimony, I knew exactly what he meant. But Todd asked about what's happened at 22 years old, and what made me segue into that was about family. When I think about your mother and your father being there for you, when I think about Auntie being there for you, what that says to me is the same thing that when I said to my mom, hey, Mom, at 18 years old, at 17 actually, that I did not want to go to a traditional 4-year university.
Mm-hmm.
And that I wanted to, at that point,
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to hear me, Todd?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah,
able to get my cosmetology license. And I said to my mom, I go, Mom, listen, okay, perfect. So I said at 22 years old, when I said to my mom, and at 18 years old, I actually said to my mother at 17 plus that I wanted to get my cosmetology license. She said, well, you know what? You're going to have to go to school first. I need you to get a degree in business administration or business so that you'll know how to run this salon that you want. So I hadn't gone to cosmetology school. So fast forward to 22 years old. I said, Mom, okay, I've completed the goal that you asked me to. I said, I want my own salon. I want to be able to help others. And that's what I was able to do. And over there, that's how I met AJ. AJ was incredible. I love AJ. AJ, if you tune into this interview, which I know that you will, thank you so much for introducing me to Todd and to his family. Thank you so much. Our hair extension on wig. So I share this to say with you, Todd, and with your parents and with Auntie is that what I found even at 22 years old, I was able to satisfy something from the inside of women and men because we had barbers there as well. But things that were uplifting, you know, like AJ was a great example. Here she was, a celebrity personality, amazing person as she is today. And like myself today and thousands of other men and women around the world, there was still something that was missing there. So I had that opportunity in the industry of cosmetology to help people and to contribute to their lives. So it's been exciting.
You know what, Davi, but you know what? You didn't stay there. You actually got into another part of the business. You kept on growing. What made you want to go into real estate? I mean, because you went from a salon, and I think how many salons did you have there? Just one?
I had 3 salons.
Yeah, you had 3 salons, and you decided to go into real estate.
Well, actually, Todd, it goes. There's a little bit of a different avenue that it goes. So I went from cosmetology, and then AJ Pink House, rest in power, Pink House. I don't know if you remember Pink House or not. First Lady Krishna, who I love, Krishna. They were starting to interview me as being a young entrepreneur. So I had newspapers that were interviewing me, Chicago Tribune and others that were doing the Defender, about being such a young entrepreneur. And what I'm also one of the staples that I take pride in, and my mother is in heaven as well with my grandmother. But one of the things, and one of the many things that they instilled in my heart was we have to give back.
Yes.
So for me, when I think about, what it was when AJ in Pink House and Krishna said, you know what, I love what you're doing with you giving back to schools with Carter G. Woodson and what is it? Fair? Was it Fair? I forget the name. I forget to think of a second. I'll come right back to it. But giving back to the various schools, what it was said to me really was that I wanted to be as far as a leader.
Yeah.
I'm kind of diving off a little bit here, but when they interviewed me and said, "Hey, what does it feel like to be 22 years old and you're also doing free hair every single Monday in your salon? What does that feel like?" When I heard myself, and I wanted to give a prop to say when I heard here we go. When I heard myself through the phones, I knew then that it was something that I wanted to get into with media as well.
Wow.
And so when you said, like, I went from the beauty industry
Yes.
industry into media, to this day is still something that's very, very important to me. I'm actually the owner of DABI Radio Los Angeles. I am a licensed radio station. I'm solely here to create positive information. I've never been a person that would create a story that was about who slept with who beat somebody out. I'm only going to do positive things. Some opportunities, being transparent, I might not have been able to take advantage of because of that. Because some people offered me opportunities and you would say, wow, Davi, really? You wanted to be positive? And I've had some opportunities that were offered to me, but if I didn't want to deviate from my natural path of being positive and what God wanted me to do, those positions weren't offered to me anymore. So media is also a passionate love for me, Todd.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because, we had a talk here, and I mean, you're in media, you do hair, and people say you're all over the place, but you're not. You're at the places God wants you to be. But,
Yes.
you told me something in our conversation that really stuck with me, because you have a lot of people who things happen to. You're a cancer survivor, right?
Yes.
And then you got into real estate. What made you get into that? Because there's a story I want to get to here, folks.
Oh, that's
you know where I'm going with this, Davi. You know where I'm going with this. And it inspired me, because people think well, I'm going to let you tell it, and then we're going to go from there, okay?
Sure. So December the 3rd, 2002, big in the media industry, having a great time. And I was in LA at the time, which I am right now. And at that time, I was diagnosed with rectal cancer. For maybe a year or maybe a year and a half prior to that, I was having problems having the bowel movement. I was having problems with, I was starting to, I don't want to say, but for upchuck, I'll say, I was starting to, I couldn't hold food down. So it was coming out of for the front or the back area of my body. And I was going to doctors regularly and they could not find anything wrong with me. They said, I said, I'm bleeding. I was bleeding from my rectum. And when I went to the bathroom, it had a horrific smell to it. It definitely smelled like death to me, no doubt about it. And I did not know what death smelled like per se, but that's what it smelled like to me. And so I was going back and forth. So then one day, because I'm an advocate. I love the Lord. So one day I was on my way to church and I was barely able to lift my head off the pillow this day, but I said, I have to go. And my friends came to pick me up because I could no longer drive at that point. This was in December of 2002. And I could know maybe November was when I started to not be able to drive. But this is when December at this point. And I couldn't drive to church, but I said I really wanted to go. And then as we were on our way to church, I said to my friends, I can't make it. I need you to take me to the hospital. I need you to take me to the hospital. I will not make it. My son was with us. He was 5 at the time. So we got to the hospital that day. I met a wonderful, I said they did tests. They said they were sending me home. I saw a wonderful young Black doctor, amazing young people say African American, I'm saying Black doctor, walk in the hallways. And I said to her, I said, listen, from one queen to another, if they send me home today, I will not make it. I have blood coming out of me that smells like death. I'm losing pounds by the day. I'm losing pounds every single day. Help me. This is my son. She said, I normally don't do this. She said, but I'm going to give you my personal cell number. and you call me on that number tomorrow. That was Sunday because it was church.
Yeah.
I called her. She said, call me tomorrow. I don't give people, she said, but you don't look like the type of person that will abuse it. I said, honey, I'm not a stalker. Okay.
Mm.
I called her the next morning. She set me up for, and I already had quite a bit of information because of the internet, Google searches, and I knew that I needed a colonoscopy and an endoscopy to see what it was. Was it from my upper or my lower intestines, or what was it? So I asked, I said, these are the two things I know. She said, well, I tell you what, call me tomorrow. I'm going to say, I called her the following day. She set me up to get both of those screenings. That was that Monday. By that Wednesday, I believe it was, like I went in to pick, my friends went in to pick up what I needed to drink to clear my system to get me ready for it. Went on December 3rd, 2002, when they did the endoscopy, I was clear. When the doctor went to do the colonoscopy, I was fully obstructed. I had a tumor in my rectum that was the size of a grapefruit. And that's why I had not been able to, I had already reduced myself to liquids only on my own because I couldn't, there was no solid foods I was able to pass at that point. That was what my story was. So here's the thing that I really want to stand up for anyone that's tuning in right now. And this is one of the reasons I was very excited. One of the many reasons. It wasn't about, for just so you know this, Todd, I was, yes, I'm excited about meeting with you today, but it really was that I was able to participate with your parents, to be honest with you, because I'm a lover of parents. I'm a lover, like Auntie being here and all that. I'm like, yes. And your mom and dad, I'm like, yes. And they're amazing. Your mom's gorgeous. I see why your father fell in love from day one.
I am a breast cancer survivor myself.
Congratulations, Mom. Thank you. I'm so glad to hear it. My grandmother was a 69-year survivor when she passed at 103. And my mother's story was different than you and my grandmother's. And so my mother's story was different than your amazing story and my grandmother's amazing story. So she did succumb to the disease. But when I got on my knees December 3rd, 2002, and that doctor said to me that I had 6 months to live, I said, God, the doctor said to me, he could barely, he wasn't fluent in English, which I took care of him afterwards with that in a positive way. But he said he could barely speak English when he told me that I had 6 months to live. I was like, okay, this isn't happening. And so when I asked God on my knees in the hospital in California, I said, God, the doctor said I have 6 months to live. And normally God will speak through my heart, guys. I'll hear something through my heart. I'll hear a vibration. Don't do this, Davi, don't go there. I mean, even when, with my mother, losing my mother, with losing my grandmother, he never spoke to me in words. But this one time, and this was prior to losing my mother or grandmother, God actually spoke to me in words. I said, God, they say I have 6 months to live. I said, my son's only 5. I said, please, I want to see his children, his family. I want to see him graduate from college, please. And that one and only time, and when I lost my mother, I thought I lost myself, my grandmother, because these were my girls. They were my BFFs. They were my everything. Even then, and that was after cancer, at one time, December 3rd, 2002, I actually heard the words of God. Now, I've spoken to thousands of people around the world, around the United States with the American Cancer Society. God said to me, I don't want your life. I want your testimony. And because I've never met a stranger. I can talk, I'm comfortable interacting with the person that's homeless on the street, and we sit down at a table and have tacos together on Taco Tuesday, which I like to do. Or I'm comfortable with speaking to someone in the White House, which I have with Barack Obama. It just depends on whatever it is. I'm okay with that. And so God said, I want you. I knew what he meant by that. I knew what he meant. He meant for me to be able to stand in the grocery line and to be honest, to say to someone who I can see might be struggling, either I help to pay it forward, or also to say to that person, he or she, I remember when God provided food for me, because I have been there before. When 2008, when the market crashed, I went from being a 7-figure earner, and then 3 years later to me rebuilding from scratch again, which thank God I was able to build up and have some amazing things going on now. So that is where it all started, Todd. I want to definitely let you add in, because I can go on, but because it's so positive for me. He said he didn't want my life. He wanted my testimony, Todd.
And Davi, we're going to have you back, because you have a wonderful, you come back from, most people, just one of those things would take them out. And our family has been touched, unfortunately, with that awful disease called cancer. Not everyone has survived. I lost it.
Shout out to your mother for being a survivor. That's my sister. That's my fellow queen right there. That's my fellow queen right there. Yes.
And staying positive is such a big key when you're suffering. Surround yourself with positive people. I remember, I tell this a lot of times. My mom, when they diagnosed it, my dad and I were devastated. I remember sitting up there like, I'm going to lose my mom here. And we were sitting up there and the nurses were coming in there. They were all solemn and stuff. And you know what? My dad and I were busting jokes.
I can see your dad doing that. Your dad reminds me. Let me tell you something. If I had to select now that I'm seeing your dad, and it's because I know spirit, I would want to have your dad on my team also. I know your mother felt good. First of all, he had fought with her through so many other.
Exactly.
Yeah. What tells the story about awesome and more awesome, Todd?
Yes.
That God has protected us in other areas.
Yeah, and like I said, Davi, it struck a chord with me because when you said that, it's like, wow, we had that, and like I said, I know we've gone a little bit long, but we got to bring you back, Davi, because there's more to you than meets the eye that people can learn from and get that experience and stuff. So, like I said, before we go here, Mom and Dad and Hantie, you're free to ask a question. This is the wild card. Just want to warn you, Davi.
I want to know why I can only see you. Do I have you pinned or something? I want to see.
No, I don't know why you can't only see me because we can all see you.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see myself. All of us together.
Yes, we're all together in this. And
are you on an iPad? No, we're not all together. We're all in separate houses.
We're not. Right.
No. I know that. I didn't know because when I'm looking at it, I'm only seeing. Okay, there we go. Okay, now I can see everyone. I can only see Todd at first.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, Todd, I love seeing you, but honey, okay.
Where your parents at? Yeah. And thank you. And so, this is the wild card session that we have, Davi. And that is, I don't preempt this thing. It's whatever they're thinking right now. So Mom, Dad, and Hantie, do you have any questions for Davi?
Any questions? Nothing's off the table for me.
Yes.
Nothing.
Who wants to go first? Go ahead. This is your chance now. Speak now, forever hold your peace, everyone.
I'm gonna let you guys know something also. During my fight with cancer, since we're always doing the wild card, I will tell you that I strongly believe in intimacy.
Yeah.
I believe in passion. I believe in love. I believe in touch. I believe in feel. Whatever it is, wherever you are in your relationships, I believe in touching, holding, kissing, caressing. I believe that is part of what makes life go on. It's not just about the act of sex. Of course, that's amazing, but it's about intimacy. So I would say that one of the things that was really helpful for me, and I know with my mother as well, was intimacy. My grandmother talks about how my grandfather holding her, touching her, not even just sex, but just holding her, touching her, feeling, loving her was one of the major things. And it was for me as well. I definitely had a positive relationship at that time as well that helped me to surpass this.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Go ahead, Dad. What were you going to say?
When the nurse was interviewing us, asking us our names in the pre-op, Todd, she asked Todd, what is his name? And Todd said, my name is Awesome. And she looked shocked. This time to me. She said, what is your name? And I said, my name is More Awesome. And we just busted up.
Oh my God, yes.
We just busted up. And that laughter really is a good medicine. Is a good medicine. It takes you out of yourself. It lets you get rid of your anxieties, your fears, and just let it out. Let it out.
Yes, yes, I agree.
What I will say to Davi, she has a positive attitude. And attitude, I think, is 95, 99% of your healing. So you cannot go into accepting cancer as a death warrant, So to me, you have to be positive and say, I'm gonna fight this, I'm gonna win. And that's what puts us over the line.
Oh my God, I totally agree. When people would even say to me, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so this, I would go, no. I said, thank you very much. I know what you're saying. I said, however, for me, I even called it my little adversity.
Yeah.
I never allowed anyone to give it power. My mother began to call it the little adversity her daughter was going through. My grandmother began to call it the little adversity her granddaughter, because because I said, we cannot give this power. So you are so right. What we know for a fact, what we give power to, our words are powerful. I tell my son all the time, watch what you say. If you say you can't do something, you can't do it.
Yeah.
If you say you can do something, you can do it. And when God said to me, he didn't want my life, he wanted my testimony, I knew for a fact that I could do it. I knew for a fact. I have to self-catheterize myself every 4 hours with a 16-inch tube that I stick in my urethra to use the bathroom for me to urinate.
Yeah.
I share that openly with everyone because I want them to see that no matter what you're going through, it's okay.
Yes.
Are you still here? I'm still walking down the beach every day. I'm going to walk out tonight when I finish with you guys. I'm going to watch the sunset. I live not 2 steps off the beach. It's about, what do you feel that's positive for you? Some people stay in the same places. They stay in the same environments. They don't take that trip they want. They don't do whatever they want. I'm here to tell you, for anyone that's tuning in right now to this amazing show, that whatever you do what feels good to you right now. Do not, that whole experience of going with what someone else, oh, we work all our lives, oh, we do. You got to be careful, because I saw that real time, that you got to be careful with that one. Like, I still am I'm very careful with how I manipulate my life, or maneuver my life, because we really don't ever know what day. What I do know for a fact, even though God told me he didn't want my life, he wanted my testimony, what I did come to realize, we don't really know when that time comes.
Yeah.
We want to be right with God, number one. I do. I want to be right with God. What does that mean for Davi? That means being able to contribute to other people's lives, being a servant at all times to God. What does that look like? That's who I am. So, and that's who I was prior to, but now he's even boosted it up even more. So it's all about being positive. When God said he didn't want my life, he wanted my testimony, I said, oh, thank you, God. Thank you, God.
I wrote about my experience with breast cancer. If you will give Todd your address, he can get so that I can send you a copy of my memoir that I wrote.
Yes, I want it. Yes.
So
I'll send him my direct address to Camilla. I have a P.O. box that I use. I'm not going to send him. I'm going to give Todd my personal address. Mail it to my home. That way I get it directly to my home.
Okay, if you give him that information, he can give it to me, and then I'll send it out to you.
And so,
and you know what? I want to interview you also for Todd. I know Todd did not share. I see Delbert Hunt is coming up. That's your dad's name.
Yes.
What is your first name? What's your mom's first name?
Myrna.
So Myrna, I also want to get you on for Survivors, and when I interview you on Davi Davenport Live, so we can get you on as well. And how many years have you been a Survivor?
Since 2010.
Yes, girl, come on. You're talking about 13 years.
13 years.
Survivor. Yes. You have a lifetime. And Delbert is a reason. Delbert, your Todd, and your family's one of the main reasons that you're here. Of course, God, we know, but the love. When I tell you Todd speaks so highly of you guys, I said, Todd, you're doing this show with your parents? He's like, I love those two. He loves his parents, honey. I said, guess what? That's a good man. I always want to have a guy in my life for mine. Unfortunately, I have the same thing, that loves God and loves his family. Loves his family. So that's so amazing. Yes.
We are blessed.
And so before we go here, Hantie, did you want to say anything, Hantie, before we close with Mom and Dad Talk?
I mean, the stories have been so thrilling to me. It helps me forget the hard day's work I did today and have been doing for the last week and a half. That
what have you been doing, Auntie?
I work at Andrews University. And this is registration. Okay. I believe that for the last couple of years, because of COVID, these kids were tired of being cooped up. And so they have kind of overwhelmed us in registration. And my calling is customer service.
Ooh, so that's always needed, Auntie.
I go over and beyond what is needed, but that's what you have to do in order to show someone love.
Yes.
Is giving them customer service. So I said last night to my son, I said, I think I must start wearing tennis shoes to work. because my boss wants, I'm one of the first persons that they see when they come into the door. I don't want anybody to be turned away because of the way I look. So
they won't be, you're a beautiful woman. They won't be.
Well, I mean, I don't want.
And your hair is cute. I love that shortcut, Auntie.
Well, it's short for a couple of reasons, but it's what I have to work with. You know how that is. So
I do.
So I have been very, very tired. You can tell it in my voice. I'm very just stressed. I shouldn't say stressed out, and I don't bring the job home or anything like that, but it wears me out because I've already retired from one job and I'm ready to retire from this one.
When are you retiring, Auntie?
I wish that I keep saying this is my last registration, but I don't know. At 76, I'm still getting up at 5:15 in the morning and spending my time with my devotion and doing all that. This is not about me. I wanted to let you know that how much I have enjoyed you.
Thank you.
I hope that Todd has a part 3 and part 4.
Yes.
We're gonna have a part. You're gonna mess around and they'd be like, well, how did Davi ease in on their show? Like, no.
You fit in very well.
He had 1 and 2 all together.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I know. I just looked at my phone. He said 15 minutes. I go, I think I ran them over a little bit. I'm
That's
sorry.
all right. That's all right, Davi. I mean, you know what?
We'll do part 2 next. They can cut it in half and continue, right, Tom?
But you know what? I put like this, Davi. You're awesome.
Yes, you are.
And I will say this. I'm glad that we met.
Oh, yeah.
For a lot of people out there that need to hear this, that don't quit, don't give up on your dream. God is not giving you a spirit of fear, but power and a sound mind. And folks,
amen.
This testimony right here, if you're not moved, if you even thinking about like how can I do this, try everything that was said here today,
right,
and see what happens. And then call us, check us out. We're here to pray for you and think about you too. So folks, we're all for you. So you know what? We're gonna call Mom and Dad Talks today. Oh man, I
gotta bring the pom-poms back. I don't know if you got
bring the pom-poms back. Bring the pom-poms back. Yeah. You rocked it. I might just leave the show as it is. You're just gonna get mad. You were fantastic, and thank you for being on our show.
Thank you.
And so next time, folks, we'll see you on Mom and Dad Talks. And like, don't give up. That's our word today. Don't give up.
That's right.